ignite, stay and play, it's game night.
Welcome to Wizards Whimsy. I'm your host, Patrick. Thanks for checking this video out. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted my last video. So just to go ahead and catch up on everything that's been going on in the world of Magic. First thing I want to mention is that I did do the collaboration with Holding Priority. Their podcast is out and you can check it out. I'll have a link in the description below. While you check that out, go ahead and check out some of their other content that they have, because they are very big into CEDH. They have a lot of content where they talk about games that they've played, tournaments they've gone to, decks that they're working on. They do set reviews. They talk about, the cards that look like they're playable in CEDH, even if it's just on the fringe, or cards just to keep an eye out for, because they feel that there's a place for them. They're just not 100% sure where that place is. So make sure you check those guys out at Holding Priority. Like I said, there is a link in the description below. So, make sure you check them out, subscribe. I'll have that, like I said, that link in the description below. I had a great time. I love playing Magic with these guys. Hopefully I can get some tournament play, or just, some casual fun CEDH play with some of these guys, and, have that posted on my channel. So starting with the latest news with Magic, Pioneer is going to be on Arena starting May 10th. So Explorer will be changed to Pioneer. They'll have enough content as far as Pioneer, as far as the most popular decks. Those should all be available to play on Arena, so they will be changing it to Pioneer. Now, they will also be unbanning Tybalt's Trickery, because it was banned in Explorer, but with Pioneer it is not banned, so it will follow the exact same ban list that the tabletop version has of Pioneer. It will not be a separate format. So that change is happening on May 10th. So something, if you play Arena, or if Pioneer is something that you've been interested in, it is something that you can actually play and try to have fun with on Arena. Now, as far as they don't have all the cards that's available for Pioneer, but like I said, they do have the most popular and most played decks. You should be able to build those card for card on Arena, especially after May 10th, whenever they release a few extra cards. So hopefully if that's your jam, that you find some enjoyment in that, and they will actually have some events to where you can win packs, you can win gems. So if that's your jam, check it out. I will actually link to the article on Magic the Gathering's website, so that you can check it out and see all the stuff that will be happening with Pioneer. So they finally did have their unban announcement on April 22nd, and they unbanned 5 cards. A couple of the cards people had idea that they would get unbanned. They did not unban any of the cards that was banned in this past September. And when they actually went into talking about it, it looks like the only one that they might in the near future, well, I say near future, there will not be any more banned or unbanned announcements for the rest of the year, unless for some reason a card like Mardu gets created. Then they'll actually have that announcement as an emergency ban if it's warranted. But there will not be any more ban or unban announcements until next year. They're going to take the rest of this year to focus on the brackets. Now, the 5 cards that they did unban was Gifts Ungiven, Sway of the Stars, Braid's Cabal Minion, Coalition Victory, and Panoptic Mirror. Now, if some of those cards people won't play, some of them are not fun to play against. Kind of when you read the article, again, I'll have this article posted in the description below as well, so that you can check that out and you can see their reasoning for the unbans. They also went in to talk about why they did not unban Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, or Dockside Extortionist, and even went on further saying that of those 3 cards, the ones that the one that they looked at the most to unban was probably Jeweled Lotus, but that will not happen this year. It may happen next year. I wouldn't hold your breath on that because I know that there was a lot of hate for that card. So it's going to be hard to see if that actually, gets unbanned. That covers the banned and restricted announcement from April 22nd, 2025. Again, those cards are Gifts Ungiven, Sway of the Stars, Braids Cabal Minion, Coalition Victory, and Panoptic Mirror. So if those are the cards that you're wanting to play, make sure that you do realize that they are game changers. They are on the game changers list. So, if you're trying to play in bracket 2, you most likely won't have any of those cards. So one thing to make sure that you're aware of is that anything that they unban will automatically go onto the game changers list, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the game changer list right now. So with the game changers list, the thing to look at is that they did remove 2 cards off of the game changers. They removed Trouble in Pairs. That was a 4-drop, 2 generic, 2 white enchantment. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whenever an opponent attacks with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. They also removed Trinisphere from the Game Changer list. It is a 3-drop artifact. As long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast costs 3 mana to cast. So meaning if you went to Swords of Plowshare, you'd actually have to add 2 generic mana to that to be able to cast it. Otherwise, you're unable to cast it. So that's all that does. Glad to see that they, are taking some cards off, but they did add a bunch of cards on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards that they added to the Game Changers list. So looking at the Game Changers list, in white you now have Draenith Magistrate, Enlightened Tutor, Humility, Sarah's Sanctum, Smothering Tithe, and Teferi's Protection. So they added Humility and Teferi's Protection. In blue, you have Cyclonic Rift, Consecrated Sphinx, Expropriate, Force of Will, Fierce Guardianship, Gifts Ungiven, Intuition, Jinka Taxis Core Augur, Mystical Tutor, Narset Parter of Veils, Heuristic Study, Sway of the Stars, Thassa's Oracle, Urza, Lord High Artificer. The new cards that they added to the blue was Consecrated Sphinx, Gifts Ungiven, Intuition, Narset's Parter of Veils, and Sway of the Stars. In black, the Game Changer list is now Ad Nauseam, Braids Cabal Minion, Bolus Citadel, Demonic Tutor, Imperial Seal, Acropotence, Opposition Agent, Orcish Bowmaster, Tiergrid, God of Fright, and Vampiric Tutor. Now the new cards that were added there are Braids Cabal Minion, Acropotence, and Orcish Bowmaster. Red actually had a couple of cards added. So Red's Game Changer list is now Deflecting Swat, Gamble, Jessica's Will, and Underworld Breach. The 2 cards that they added to Red was Deflecting Swat and Gamble. In green, the Game Changer list is now Crop Rotation, Food Chain, Gaia's Cradle, Natural Order, Seedborn Muse, Survival of the Fittest, Vorniclex, Voice of Hunger, Worldly Tutor. Now, the cards that they added to green was Crop Rotation, Food Chain, Natural Order, Seedborn Muse, and Worldly Tutor. In multicolor, you have Aura Shards, Coalition Victory, Kennen Bonder Prodigy, Grand Arbiter Augustine IV, Notion Thief, Winota Joiner of Forces, and Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. They added 3 new cards to the multicolor. That was Aura Shards, Coalition Victory, and Notion Thief. Colorless. Its list consists of Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Field of the Dead, Glacial Chasm, Grim Monolith, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mana Vault, Mox Diamond, Mishra's Workshop, Panoptic Mirror, the One Ring, and the Tabernacle at Pendervale. The cards that they added to the colorless list is Field of the Dead, Mishra's Workshop, and Panoptic Mirror. I still have a problem with the Game Changers, and adding more cards to it is not actually fixing the problems that I have with it. And it could be just how I look at the cards. Everybody has different optics whenever they're looking at cards, and there's only a few cards on this list that I would actually consider game changing. I definitely would not have added Gamble because, again, you're taking a gamble because you go get the card you want, you could end up discarding it. So unless you have something out that's letting you get something from the graveyard, I probably wouldn't run it in a deck unless I knew that I could get it back from the graveyard. So again, I don't see that as a game changer. A couple of the things like Narset's Parter of Veils, that could definitely be a game changer because it stops your opponents from drawing multiple cards. So you could actually just wheel them into an empty hand with a couple of wheel effects. I definitely see that as a game changer since it can, essentially lock your opponents out of the game. So that is definitely one thing that I would consider a game changer. But that's the two spectrums. So let's talk about brackets now. This is where they're going to spend the rest of the year working and trying to fix and come up with, better ideas for the brackets. So we'll go over those brackets real quick. You have bracket 1, which is Expedition. Decks prioritize theme over function and showcase a unique idea or experience over value winning. So all the cards features horses, all the cards, everyone's wearing hats, there's water in all the cards. There's some kind of theme that you've created or decided, and it's not necessarily the most powerful cards, and you're just basically wanting to have fun and play around. You have no game changers, no mass land denial, no extra turns, no 2-card infinite combos, and you have few tutors. So I think that's one of the things that they will actually be focusing on, because what is considered mass land denial? Is it 2 land, 3 land? Is it shutting off everyone's mana rocks? What is the mass land denial? What is few tutors? What are you considering tutors? So tutors are going to have to be defined. Because crop rotation is a tutor for a land. You got to sack land and go search for a land. It's on the game changer list, but it is technically a type of tutor. Explosive vegetation, you go search for 2 lands, put 1 into your hand and 1 onto the battlefield tapped. Is that a tutor? So they definitely need to actually come up with some definitions for the terms that they're using. Bracket number 2, it is a core. Decks are focused, even if every card choice isn't the highest power, and comparable to an average precon. Wins are often telegraphed or incremental. No game changers, no mass land denial, no chaining extra turns. So that's a big difference between exhibition and core. There's no extra turns in exhibition, and you're not chaining extra turns in core. No 2-card infinite combos, few tutors. So again, here we have, your core. They're like your precon. They definitely have to really work on this because they added Seaborn Muse to the game changer list, which makes one of the decks that just came out in Tarkir Dragonstorm, it automatically puts that into a bracket 3 because it does have a game changer in it. And there are several commander decks. Most of the ones that came with free spells would actually, by this sentiment here, by this blueprint, would actually be bracket 3 instead of being core, just because they have those cards in there. So we'll talk more about that in just a minute. Then you have bracket 3. It is upgraded. Decks are thoughtfully designed, full of synergistic or strong cards, games could end out of nowhere with powerful spells and late game combos. You have no mass land denial, no chaining extra turns, late game 2-card infinite combos are allowed, and you have up to 3 game changers. Looks like you can have unlimited tutors as long as they're not on the game changer list, because you can only have 3 game changers in this bracket. Optimize. Decks are turbocharged with the most powerful cards in the format. Everybody intends to win and is ready to play against anything. There are no restrictions other than the ban list. And then you have bracket 5. Decks are built to win in a competitive metagame. Players to use only the most powerful strategies. There are no restrictions other than the ban list. Now, there's not a huge difference between optimized and CEDH when you look at how it is written. You're trying to win as fast as you can. The only thing that mentions it with CEDH is the metagame. I like to play decks that are not meta. I find those the most fun, and can be some of the most competitive. Because people don't really know what to expect from the deck. A lot of times you can look at the commander. If the commander is a key piece to the deck, you can kind of figure out what it's trying to do, and that gives you a good idea of how it wins. But having something that is off meta, I actually enjoy that, and there are very, very powerful decks that are off meta that I would take to tournaments to play against the meta decks, because they won't be as prepared for that deck as if I played in a different bracket. So one of the key things with the bracket, everyone focuses and has been focusing on what are the restrictions to building the decks. Well, the one restriction that people are not really looking at is intent. What is the intent of your deck? So in Expedition, it's pretty easy. You're really not worried about winning. You just want to have a fun experience. You want to do some goofy stuff. So that's basically what you're going for. You're just trying to have fun. You got to look at intent, and other than Expedition, one of the main intents of any deck that you're going to build is to win. You also have to look at how fast you're wanting to win. That's another thing that they need to actually really come up with is, what are they considering late game? Turn 7 does not feel like it's a very late in the game to me, unless you're playing in CEDH. And CEDH, turn 7, that's pretty late. Of course, with the bans that happened in September, it's not unheard of for a CEDH game to go 4 hours. As a matter of fact, Gaming Ghost from Holding Priority actually was in a tournament and was playing at the final round, and that round lasted a total of 4 hours. So I'm pretty sure they went beyond turn 7. So defining what late game is, mid game, and early game is something that they definitely need to define. That will also help with determining your bracket and your deck's power. So hopefully they look at that, and that's something that they take to heart, is that, hey, what are we going to call late game? Now, like I said, intent, other than Expedition, your intent is to win. Again, it's how are you planning on winning? Because, in bracket 2, you can have 3-4 card combos that are infinite. You're just not going to have a 2-card infinite combo. You will have be able to look and be like, oh, okay, I see how you're going to win. It's a pretty telegraphed win. Like, I got all these elves out, I'm dropping Craterhoof. That's your win right there. So again, the intent is what you really have to focus on if you're going to build brackets, because like I said, you can build very powerful decks in bracket 2 that can punch into all the way up to CEDH, really, if you look at it close enough. So when you're thinking about the intent of the deck, think about how it wins, how late in the game that it could push the win, or what is the earliest that you could push the win with that deck, would be a good way to look at it. But again, while they're working on the bracket system, that is something that they really need to focus on is what are they considering mid and late game. I would consider mid game probably anywhere from like 5 to 7, 5 to 9 as far as turns go, and then anything 10 and beyond being late game. But that's just me. If I sit down and I'm playing casually, I'm not really worried about what I'm going against, unless I know, hey, all I have is this pre-con and I'm fixing to sit down with people running a bunch of CEDH decks or a bunch of bracket 4 decks, then I know I'm not going to be able to keep up with, and I'll be like, hey, y'all have a deck I can borrow, or I'll just sit this out and find something that is more with the deck that I actually have brought with me. Now I bring multiple decks with me. I bring my CEDH, I bring a pre-con, and I bring an upgraded pre-con. I'll even bring a dual commander deck. So that is one of the things that I will do. I usually have, like I said, anywhere from 3 to 4 decks with me, so that I can try to play at whatever power level or whatever brackets that the people that I could be sitting down with would be playing. I just have fun playing Magic. Really don't care, what you're playing, as long as I have something that can at least keep up with what you're doing. And I think that's one thing that people need to look at. So if you're building anything with brackets, make sure that you really focus on what the intent of, where's your win, what are your win cons, what is the earliest that you can win, and when is it most likely that you can win. Because I think that's very important whenever you're trying to build a deck and you're trying to build it into brackets 2 or 3. So that's my take on the brackets, and I look forward to seeing what Wizards does and what the Commander panel actually does as far as getting the brackets out. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. It means a lot to me. You took the time to check it out. Again, if you're working with the brackets or trying to build decks within the brackets, make sure that you really focus on the intent of the deck. That is a key takeaway. If you enjoy Pioneer, you can actually play it on Arena starting May 10th. You might not be able to build every deck that you could in Pioneer, but they do have the most popular decks available to be crafted on Arena. So, go ahead and give that a look. Again, I have everything that I've talked about. I have the articles posted in the description below, and definitely check out the podcast I did with Holding Priority. That's in the description below as well. And go ahead and like and subscribe to their page so that you can hear more content from them. They're great to listen to on drive to work, drive home from work, because it is geared towards a podcast. So definitely check that out. There's some great guys, Gaming Ghost and Cardboard Cryptic, great host, great Magic players. And if you really enjoy CEDH content, I think you'll enjoy their podcast. So make sure that you check out Holding Priority. Again, that link will be in the description below. So like I said, go check them out, give them a like, go ahead and subscribe to their channel, help them out. If you're looking for sealed Magic products, I do have links in the description below to Amazon. There you can find the products. You can, purchase them. If you make a purchase using any of those links, I do get a small commission for sending you there, and that commission is at no cost to you. It's just Amazon's way of saying thanks for me sending you there, and it's something that helps you out, helps me out, helps Amazon out. So make sure that if you're looking for any sealed magic products, go ahead and take a look in the description below. I don't have every product listed. I do have the most current products listed in the description below. If there's anything you'd like to see me list in the description, you think that I should add into the description as far as stuff that people may be interested in purchasing off of Amazon, go ahead and leave me a comment. Definitely leave me a comment on what you'd like to see, in the next video. Now, also, I do have my Urini optimized deck list that is in the description below as well. I'm not doing a full video on that since I kind of went over that deck before. I just didn't optimize it. I just changed out like 18 cards. I do have one that's more optimized. It hits at bracket 4 because of the game changers and tutors, but it probably punches bracket 3, bracket 4. It's not combo centric, so you're not going to be comboing off and winning a CEDH tournament with it, but it will be a fun little more dragon focused deck, so make sure you check that out. Again, that link is in the description below as well. And until next time, keep slinging those spells.
It's time to brew, slinging spells, making mischief too. Wizards, we're to see. A little bit of news, battlefields too crazy brews. Manners flow and sparks ignite. Stay and play, it's game